Welcome to It's Tea Time, a look at what's going on in Trojan Athletics. I'm Aaron Taylor, filling in for Jonathan Sellers this week, and joining me is Senior Associate Director of Athletics, Sandy Atkins. Sandy, thanks for joining us for It's Tea Time.
Absolutely, glad to be here.
And it's spring, so it seems unusual to be talking about football, but the Neil Brown era officially starts this week with spring practice.
Absolutely, and you're right. You know, it's the only time in spring we get to talk about football is the start of spring practice. It actually starts today, Tuesday, this afternoon at 5 o'clock. So we're excited about that. I know, if you ask Coach Brown when he first got here, he said, they hit the ground trying to, get recruits in. He said it was a lot like speed dating, and progress to the fun part where they actually get on the field and, do some evaluation on the field. As well as beginning to install some of his programs.
And I know a lot of it, when he first got here, he was kind of waiting for this spring football in order to actually get the hands-on with the players and stuff like that, because there's a lot of work had to get built to build up to this point.
Right, and with any coaching change, turnover, it's start back at ground one, and everybody's on the same depth chart. So it's a good opportunity to get to see some individuals. Of course, those guys, have watched a tremendous amount of film. Of course, we still have some coaches, that were here from the previous staff. But, it's a neat opportunity to have that depth chart, everybody being equal, and have a good chance to start fresh with evaluations.
And let's talk also about the involvement with the Trojan Nation out there. I know that they're encouraging people to get involved and check out the football team during this spring practice period.
Absolutely. So, that's one thing that Coach Brown has been tremendous about from the day that he got here, of trying to engage the different constituent groups, not just Troy fans, but the athletic family and the academic family. I know on Thursday he had each student athlete invite a faculty member to attend practice, and they're going to be able to visit with those faculty members after practice. So, just doing little things to try to let people really understand what's going on at practice and what these student athletes go through on a daily basis, from weights to video to practice to class. All those things that are going on. So, he's done a tremendous job of trying to get those different groups engaged.
And just trying to reinvigorate the football program and interest in the football program. So.
Well, and that's something, the NCAA has really cracked down on, everything that you can do in the spring. So, they have a short window of time to be able to practice. They get 15 days of practice in, so it's not a whole lot of days that they can get in. So they're looking to make the most of those days, and that'll end with a spring scrimmage on April the 25th.
Okay, so let's shift gears from football.
Okay.
As exciting as that is, some spring sports. Let's talk about that, especially.
Right.
Softball. Softball had a big week last week. Took down 2 top 10 teams in a row, first time in school history. It's got to be a pretty impressive feat for the team there. So. Well,
it's very impressive, and much like Coach Brown with Coach Mullins, this is her debut as our new head softball coach. And these girls throughout the season have been competing day in and day out. They've won a lot of games in the later innings. They keep fighting hard, and that's paid off. And you've seen them, go from just starting off to growing, and that's culminated in the past 2 games with they beat Florida State, who was ranked 10th in the country, and then turned around and beat Louisiana Lafayette, who's 7th. And to be fair, had a good opportunity to beat them a second game as well.
So they didn't quite get the series win there, but they did get that first win, but a close game for the rest of it. But a good performance overall, and something to be proud of, and something to be for Mullins to be able to hang her hat on. So.
Absolutely, and the RPI came out for softball yesterday, as well as the top 25, and we actually got 2 votes in the top 25. So a lot of tremendous things to build on. We're really just getting started in the season. We've already faced the top 2 teams in the Sun Belt Conference. And right now we're currently 4th in the conference. So looking forward to getting in the meat of those games and seeing and making something happen. And
seeing how well that they can progress a little bit more, and maybe shock a couple more teams as we go through the rest of the schedule. So, and then the softball doing well, but then we've also got a bit of a streak going on with the men's tennis team as well. So it's good success all around in spring here.
Absolutely. We've had some tremendous success in a lot of our sports. I know we're going to talk about golf a little bit later on, but they're having tremendous success. But our tennis programs, our men's tennis in particular, they've won 7 in a row. They've currently beat every Sun Belt Conference opponent that they faced. They'll face Appalachian State this weekend. Women's tennis is also in the same breath. They're doing very well. Their conference tournament will be coming up in 4 weeks in New Orleans. Tennis is an odd sport because you're not playing a conference. You don't play a conference schedule.
Yeah.
So
you go right into the tournament
right
at the
end. You get ranked from ITA rankings, and then you go in the tournament. So it's important for those guys to keep that momentum going and to lead into the conference tournament.
And you mentioned that the playing this weekend, and the Troy tennis fans have a chance to see them at home this weekend. They'll be hosting an invitational. Correct?
They will be playing Friday at 11 o'clock. I believe it's 11 o'clock Friday morning, and then Saturday they'll be playing at 10 and at 3 o'clock.
So a chance for the fans out there to see the tennis team in action and keep that streak alive, hopefully playing on the home court. So a lot of excitement going on in Trojan sports, especially here in the spring with the streaks, the wins, the votes, the points, and then now we've got the spring football as well. So a lot of things going on.
Absolutely. It's we do call it a hectic time of year, but it's also a fun time of year. I mean, you come to Troy this weekend, you can watch tennis and baseball. Next weekend it'll be softball, spring football practice. Always golf and what they have going on with and the completion of their brand new
their facility.
Yeah,
they're starting to see that come to shape. Yep. Drive by and you start to see the roof is getting put on that facility. I know they're excited about that. Coach Terry's talked about what that's going to mean for his teams and recruiting and just in general for the program over there.
Yeah,
so.
we are definitely moving forward with all of our sports. It is a very exciting time and finding a lot of success.
All right, well, here's hoping that success continues for the rest of the spring and the rest of the year. So
Absolutely.
I want to thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And stay tuned for a little bit more of what's going on It's Tea Time. Welcome back to It's Tea Time, and with me is Todd Watson, Director of Football Operations here at Troy. Todd, thanks for joining me here today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And first off, you're new to the staff, much like most of the staff is here at the program. First, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up here at Troy.
Well, prior to coming to Troy, I've been the head coach and athletic director at Foley High School in down on the coast, south part of Alabama. I've been in the state my whole career, which is working on 21 years now. Prior to that, I was at Hoover High School, and that's kind of where the connection made. Matt Moore, who's our co-offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, he and I coached together at Hoover High School and coached Cornelius Williams, who played here and is now coaching the receivers here. So I kind of met Coach Brown through Matt and got to know him, and then this opportunity came up, and fortunately things worked out, and here I am.
There you go. And now, Director of Football Operations, a lot of people not familiar with the business side of football and college football may not understand what that title necessarily means. Again, give us a little bit of description of what does a Director of Football Operations do?
Well, it's an administrative position, and it kind of encompasses a myriad of things, everything from calendars and schedules and keeping things lined up, just making sure everything moves along smoothly is the gist of it. There's also things that tie into facilities, things that tie into budget, but just an administrative job to try to keep everything moving along smoothly and in a conducive manner to our program.
The program. And talking about the program is talking about the fact that the Neil Brown era is officially kicking off this week as we're seeing coaches and players on the field for the first time this week with spring practice kicking off. I know there's got to be a lot of excitement in the program for that.
A lot of excitement. And me being in the state for 20 years, got a lot of friends that are in the high school level that they're all abuzz about it as well. Several of them have been up here and visited campus, maybe have brought prospective athletes up here and so forth, but they can feel the excitement in the air and the energy that Coach Brown and this new staff's bringing. It's really been, just a breath of fresh air and to kind of get out on the field today for the first time, first day of spring practice is exciting. So looking forward to it.
And of course, getting the chance to see the coaches and the players together for the first time. The new staff, you're new, most of the rest of the staff, just a small number of returning coaches, but getting the chance to see all of the new elements come together has got to be pretty exciting. So
yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Christmas Day. You know, you kind of have an idea of what's there, but you finally get to open the package and see what's there, and a lot of excitement to see how the coaches are going to interact with the players and vice versa, and just to see, the newness of it, and the expectation that's there. So I think there's a lot of excitement, I know, amongst our staff and I believe amongst the kids as well. So looking forward to today.
And I know one of the big things that Coach Brown has had since he's got here is trying to elevate the program and elevate the awareness of the program. And I know there's a lot of anticipation to get the fans involved with these practices and watching practice and being a part of the program. Talk a little bit about that, about what all the expectations hope from trying to get the Trojan Nation involved during the spring period.
Well, first of all, our practices are open to everyone that wants to come. I mean, we want people to see what's going on and to be a part of the excitement and feel that part. But we've also have several days that are theme days that we're specifically bringing certain groups to practice. We want them to be able to see what our young men are doing and the direction that we're heading. This coming Thursday is a professor's day, our academic day, that we're bringing some of our professors and tutors and deans and those kind of things to practice, because we want them to see what these young men are doing and how they're trying to represent Troy University, and we're all a big family here working together. And Coach Brown, puts a lot of emphasis on family and being a part, all being one. And so that's our goal is to bring people in, see what we're doing, and then all be a big family.
And so here's hoping that we can get a big family and get big crowds, big people involved with spring, going all the way to the spring game, which will wrap up the spring practice schedule. Folks get a chance to see the Trojans in action there towards the end there. So
T-Day is April 25th.
Okay.
It's a big day. A lot of things going on campus on that day, not only our spring game, but baseball, softball. Great day to be a Trojan on the 25th. A lot of things going on, and love to have a huge crowd here, not only alumni, but all those that support us.
For all those that can't wait for fall, get a small taste of Trojan football here this spring.
Right.
So we'll want to thanks for joining us today, and good luck with the rest of spring practice. So
thank you very much.
Thank you. And stay tuned for a little bit more about what's going on in Trojan athletics here on It's Tea Time. Welcome back to It's Tea Time. Matt Terry joins me for this next segment, talking about the men's golf team, and got some pretty good news for the men's golf team. It's been a little bit since you played, but since your last meet down in the Florida State, the Seminole Invitational there, you've gotten a little bit of press and publicity and some rankings to talk about out there. So
it's kind of nice to get a little love from Golf Week. It's one of the big news media out there for golf. In our country, whether it be pro, amateur, it doesn't matter, and they cover college golf really well for us. And had an interview with a guy on Saturday, and just talking about how we've become the team we are, and it was really nice getting a little publicity, something you don't want to think about too much, because we've got tournaments to play. We leave tomorrow, and you got to focus on those things. But it's nice to see the boys get a little pat on the back. They do work very hard, and it's kind of nice that somebody else besides myself is telling them good job.
And of course, that kind of exposure, it's got to be great for the program, for the future golfers out there that might see that sort of article floating around out there in the internet or floating around somewhere and say, hey, listen, Troy's getting a little bit of publicity. This may be some place I might want to go play someday.
Exactly, it definitely affects rankings. I mean,
recruiting.
Say rankings, but rankings affect recruiting.
Yeah.
And it definitely does. The young men and women out there are all looking at that all the time with any program that we've got here, and for us to get a little hype is always good. A few more emails come our way, and players realize that we've got a very good schedule, and that they're going to see some of the top talent in the country week in and week out when we go to tournaments. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, you mentioned the word ranking there. Accidentally, a little bit of a slip, but rankings are something we're going to talk about right now, because the team seeing some good progress up the rankings here, especially as of right now, the top ranked team in the Sun Belt Conference now, right?
Yes, we are. It's a good, fortunate thing. We've got a couple other schools in our conference that are very good. Right now, us and Georgia Southern are inside the top 50 in the country, and that's a good thing for both of us. I mean, it's good. We need to push each other, and I'm good friends with both of their coaches. on their men's side, and it's going to be nice and seeing what happens, because at the end of the year when we do play at conference, they go on the national rankings on our pairings for the first day. So that's going to be good. But I know they just had a very good event that they host, the Schenkel, and played well, finished third, beat a lot of good teams. So they might leapfrog us in the morning when the new golf stat poll comes out, which is fine. You know, at the end of the day, we just want to get to postseason by hook, any hook or crook. So just see what we can do.
And of course, individually, the players they're seeing some good spots in the national rankings as well.
They are. We've got right now in the Sun Belt, 5 of our top 5 guys are in the top 17 in the conference, which is looked at by GolfStat, same ranking that the NCAA chooses your at-large and your individual bids. And it's nice. The next school I think to us is Georgia State. They got 3 in the top 17. So it's it's a good thing. I feel like this is the deepest roster we've had definitely since I've been here. We've got guys that haven't been traveling that can play, that I wish I would have had 4 years ago. But that's a good problem to have. I think that's part of the reason we're probably pretty good. And I think in the past that teams here at Troy have been deep, that have been good.
And of course, talking about in your time here, this is probably the best ranked team that you've had since you've been here, right?
Right. It is most definitely the best team that I've assembled. And, luckily they've made me look very good for choosing them by working very hard and producing on the golf course. That's always a good thing to see. And hopefully they'll continue to do that the rest of the season and continue that season on into June.
And of course, now let's talk about what you've got coming up next. You're about to hit the road, head to Furman. Talk about what you've got, the expectations there. So.
Well, it's a tournament we skipped last year. We played somewhere else, and the guys, especially the seniors, wanted to go back. We did our travel itinerary a few minutes ago just for the guys to have, and the 4 seniors all played there 2 years ago, and we finished third. We were in the final group, had an opportunity to win, and got beat on a nasty cold day, and hopefully we're going to have some good weather when we go up there. I know it's going to be kind of cold on us on Saturday, but a lot better than what we saw, 2 years ago. And if we can come up with the same results, get ourselves in the final group, and have a chance to win, I think there's a good possibility of that. The guys like the golf course. They're excited about going back, and we're going to play on the way up. Tomorrow we're going to play East Lake where they have the Tour Championship, and that's a kind of a nice little perk for the guys in Atlanta to stop and get to play where the PGA Tour will be at the end of their season.
Get a chance to play where the pros are playing a little bit before they make their way to their tournament this weekend.
It is, and it's probably the 5th event or place we'll play this season where the tour goes. And that's a nice thing that the guys can say that, and that also helps recruiting.
Oh, of course.
When the players know that they're going to go get to see those golf courses during the course of a year, they can kind of measure up. And when they flip on that TV, they can see where they hit it.
And about the competition you're facing this weekend, there's at least one conference foe you're facing this weekend?
Yeah, we got Georgia State's going to be there, and they're the defending champions. Joe and them had a very good team last year, and he's got a similar mix, graduated a couple of guys, and they're starting to find some form right now, which is always a little scary because you can't control them, and they start clicking it. Now there's another team in the mix that can come challenge us at conference, but that's a good thing. The guys know that, and they'll be there, and they'll want to beat them first and foremost, and we'll see Virginia Tech, who's a top 30 program, and they've won it in the past. They won it the year we were there 2 years ago, and they've won it 2 or 3 times. Chattanooga's always a good team. So very, very big field, 24 teams, but kind of top heavy this week.
Well, Matt, here's hoping continued success, especially at Furman, but also maybe moving up that rankings heading towards the end of the season. Hopefully that you can keep a long season going on well past conference.
Yeah, definitely. We want to get in the heat of the summer.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us on this week's It's Tea Time. Thank
you.
And thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for a little bit more of what's going on here in Trojan Athletics. Welcome back to It's Tea Time. This segment, we'll talk a little track and field. And my guest is the Director of Track and Field, Mark. Thanks for joining me here today.
No problem.
And talking about the track program and where we are right now, we're about a month into the outdoor season. So tell us how things went on your last meet.
Things went pretty well. We had a lot of season bests and personal bests. Corey Cox threw a personal best in the discus and won the competition, which was great for Alabama relays. You want to go up there and bring your best to that competition. Julia Ostendorf had a PR in the 5K, so it was a big 6-second PR for her, so that was great. And Garrison Floyd ran a PR in the college highs. He PR'd by a lot, actually. He actually was 0.3 faster than he was the week before. So things are starting to click for him and getting some rhythm.
And so at this point in your first outdoor season, you're a month in. Obviously, you had some personal goals and set for this season. How are you looking at this point so far, going into the season of your first outdoor season here at Troy? How things are going at this point? So
For the most part, so far so good. Track is one of those sports where you just have to kind of monitor how the kids are doing. You have to monitor how they're feeling. And right now, I mean, everybody seems to be okay. There's some minor, bang ups and things like that, but that's normal for track. So I'm using this week kind of as a rest week to get everybody back together and focused on what's going on. We have another 6 weeks until the conference championship, so we got a little bit.
6 weeks, a month in, 6 more weeks to go, and a taxing sport for athletes, especially.
Absolutely.
And so, one of the things, and you talk about doing a little bit of rest, and I would say that's got to be probably a concern, is making sure things stay smooth and steady for the entire season, right?
And it's not even just rest from running. I mean, these kids are in classes, they're taking exams, they're writing papers, they're up late. So we have to take that into consideration when we're trying to keep them in shape for what they're doing. Sometimes less is more. So if we can take some of the volume away and just let them rest up during the practice time, sometimes the following week is going to be better for them. And I think that, once we rest this week, they're going to start to see the benefits from that once they compete.
And you get that rest because it's almost like overstretching the rubber band. You don't want to snap it, right? So you want to give them a chance to be able to ride those peaks and valleys, right?
Absolutely. I had a kid that came out today, just looked like a zombie. So, I mean, as we were talking about before, I just kind of scrapped what my plan was for the day, and it's just going to be a recovery day, getting them ready for basically Thursday is when our next hard workout is going to be, and, see how things fall at that point.
And so now you talk about rest and changing things up. And this weekend, you've already kind of mentioned the fact that you're going to change things up a little bit, going to where you're going in North Florida. That you're not going to be taking as many this weekend, right? Talk about the strategy behind that. So
Basically, what I'm trying to do again is just let people recover from any nagging injuries they may have. If they feel a little bit banged up, just kind of not put them in situations where they have to pound and put it all out there to race. When I coach, I want to see them compete at their highest level. And if I know that they're not there before we even get there, there's no point in actually taking them. So leaving them back and just letting them rest for a weekend. This is the one weekend that they'll have to do that, before the weekend before conference.
So you're going every week.
Pretty much.
Throughout the season. No breaks, no rest, no relaxation.
Not really.
So
Yeah, except for this week.
Except for this week. So it's a one chance. So so you're taking us along. Tell about the meet you're going to this weekend. So.
This weekend we're going to North Florida, which is also the site of the NCAA regional championships. So, we're taking some kids that we think have a shot at making it to regionals. We're taking them with us for sure. And then, just taking some others that are, at a high level, not quite necessarily at the NCAA level, but taking them down there to get some good competition. So looking forward to seeing how that all works out.
And of course, we talked when you were on here during the indoor season about how important it was to be on a track and get experience on that track when you went to Birmingham so often during the indoor season. So I guess is the added benefit there as well of running on a track that you might see somewhere down the road?
Yes, it's the same thing. And if you have a kid that may double, seeing how much time it takes to get from one venue to the other, that plays a big part. If you're going to double and you're going to do a long jump at, say, the hurdles, how long does it take to get from point A to point B in the middle of a competition if that needs to happen?
And that's the kind of thing that you're hoping that once they get back there, hopefully, knock on wood, when they get back there, they'll have some experience on that track and be able to do something.
Exactly, and that's exactly what we're looking to do. We're trying to. My thing is prepare you for what's coming at all times, and the best teams are the prepared teams, and that's what I want to do.
All right. Well, here's hoping that the team has a little more success this weekend heading to North Florida, and maybe a few more personal bests and some first place finishes. We'll do some good things for the track program over there.
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining us on this week's It's Tea Time. Tune in next week for more to learn about what's going on in Trojan athletics.